Friends, today I'm with Narlon Edwards, my friend from Red River Outpost. Thanks for coming, Narlon.
Glad to be here.
So today we're going to deep dive on Red River Outpost, what it is, how does it work? So give me a very quick snippet of what Red River does.
Well, we are a multifaceted ministry, and when you study the ministry of Christ, what he did is create multifaceted ways of reaching people. And ultimately, we believe that Christ is coming soon and we need to reach people the gospel of the three angels' messages.
Amen.
But you recognize that you can't just go on the street corner and say, the beast power or market or, and just say the judgment hour has come. So how do we get this message of love across in such a way that people are more receptive? So some of the ways you could do it is through a farm. You could do that through going out in the community and meeting people with healthy options such as cooking classes, natural remedies demonstrations, bringing in guest speakers that speaks on the principles of health, having a wellness retreat in which they could come, and which is, in my estimation, the most effective way, because you have a controlled environment where you're controlling the devices, you're controlling the information that's going into their minds, you're controlling what they're seeing and what they're hearing. So we have the wellness retreat, and of course, surrounding those things, we have construction that we do that eventually will be a part of the education for our students. Nice. And it's just pretty much a multifaceted way of reaching people in a multiple different ways and give people different options of hearing about Jesus.
Great. So Red River Outpost, just to summarize, you guys have a wellness center, right?
We do.
A wellness center where you have programs
yes.
For people. But you also go door to door to teach about natural remedies?
That's right.
Okay. You also have a missionary training school then?
Well, it's developing. We're building up housing for that now.
Okay.
So what we're doing right now is short-term, 1-week intensive trainings.
Okay.
And internships. We have people that come in and, we'll train them on the spot, train them, live through internship. They rotate through our wellness. We do personal mentorship and leadership training with them. So we don't officially have the school yet, but we're in the process of developing that.
Okay, cool. You also have a farm as well,
yes.
that where you have your stuff. How big is the land where you are?
Well, we just expanded to 600 acres. so we're on 600 acres altogether now.
Okay. A little piece of land there.
Oh
somewhere.
yeah, just a little piece.
This is Kentucky, right?
It is.
Yeah. Okay, so now tell me, how did you guys got that enormous piece of land in the place where you guys are? Because I visited Red River,
yes. Mm-hmm.
but I have no idea of the story of how you got that place.
Yes, it's quite miraculous, and it's a few of us who are the founders, and we had different journeys to the same route, and that's how we know that God's providence was leading. The ones remaining there now, as far as the founders, are myself and Ramon, and God put it on both of our hearts to do something along these lines of a facility that's very practical in its operation. Meaning people come and not just hear the theory of it, but actually practice what they're doing, what they're hearing while doing it. And our motto, one of our mottos when we first started, is learning while doing. So more hands-on than theory. So we both had this in mind. And Ramon and Danella and a few were trying to get a evangelism canvassing training school up and running that focused on like field school training. And I was more focused on the overarching outpost, and the two visions kind of came together. And they put in a proposal to rent the facility, for the more field school training. And when they put the proposal in, the owners at the time said, this is exactly what we envisioned when this property was built. They've had it for quite some time, since the building there was since 2000. Wow. So it's been there for a while, and it was built specifically for ministry. But when they saw the proposal, it outlined pretty much everything that they had envisioned. And they were praying about it. They were up in age. And their children wanted to see it also go towards ministry rather than for themselves personally. So they liked the proposal, and they said, you know what? Instead of you guys renting this facility, how about this property be donated for this particular cause? Because this is the vision that we have for the place. So it was quite miraculous.
Wow, praise the Lord.
Yeah.
That is amazing. Yeah, we can see God leading there.
Oh yeah, no question.
Definitely.
No question.
Nice. Now, you guys are very community focused. I want you to teach us a little bit about that, because I guess every ministry wants to reach their community, but
absolutely.
How did you do it to be able to really be recognized by the community, or to access the community, to be trusted by them?
So what I share is that we have a global, local focus. So one of our strategies are specifically to have an influence in our local community. I started off as a traveling evangelist, and just seeing how much effect it has on the people when you go and do an evangelist meeting, you're gone, with the hopes that everyone else would take care of the community that's left behind. And the unfortunate reality is that it just doesn't happen. Mm-hmm. So from traveling from place to place, I go back a year later, the people that were baptized or influenced by the work that was done there, in most cases they're gone. Mm-hmm. So what I wanted to do is study and see, what can be done differently? How can we have a more sustainable method or sustainable model rather of how local communities could be worked? As I studied the life of Christ, I realized something, that even though a lot of people think that Christ was going all over the world, Christ was actually going in circles. If you read Matthew chapter 4, Galilean tour number 1. Matthew chapter 9, Galilean tour number 2. And right at the end of Matthew chapter 9, you see Jesus is doing Galilean tour number 3. So what he's doing is actually going in circles, going to the same place over and over again, which also tells me that Jesus had a local focus. And what's interesting is, our whole model is built off of this, by the way, just studying the life of Christ. Jesus now, because our 3 strategies is to model, inspire, and equip. Create a working model of how to do ministry, inspire people on the model that we've developed, and then give them the tools, equip them through mentorship and leadership to be able to carry it out. That's kind of our strategies. And when you look at the life of Christ, the first Galilean tour, he took the disciples with him, and they mainly watched. The second Galilean tour, they worked together. So Jesus did some, and then he placed the bread in their hands. He'll have them be active participants in his ministry.
Miracles, yeah.
And then in the third Galilean tour now, this is when you get to end of Matthew 9 and go into Matthew chapter 10, the Bible says he actually sent them by themselves before him, and then he followed behind. So he let them go ahead. They were doing their work, and then now he followed behind to check on how they're doing, and then also they're preparing the way for him to come. And you read that in Luke 9 as well. So it's an amazing model. So we wanted to have that model to mentor, train, lead, model, inspire, and equip. But in order to do that, you have to have a workable model. So what we've done is started off by going in our communities and just offering help wherever help is needed. It was called TCI, Total Community Involvement. Did surveys, find out what our neighbors' needs are, begin to meet their needs. A lot of them had health issues. As a result of their health issues, we started doing local programs, 10-day challenges. Then that led to opening up a restaurant. And then we opened up a restaurant, then we started spending more time in dealing with them on a personal level. Then by God's grace, we opened up the wellness program. Our first wellness program, we had 5 people, all from the community, that has had a lasting community impact. And it had helped to break down a lot of barriers. And we see that model of working in our local communities being very, very effective. And no matter where I go now, if I go to Africa or Fiji or Europe or Asia, my goal is to share with people this methodology of reaching their locals, because who could reach the locals better than the people that are there,
Awesome.
if they're taught the right principles.
Awesome. Friends, are you taking notes? I hope you're taking notes.
Yes.
And what I noticed is that do not like guessing solutions. Because at the end, talking with the community, this is, I think, what I see. You correct me if I'm wrong, but you're like interacting with people, knowing their problems, and then saying like, okay, let's bring this solution to cover this need.
Oh yeah.
So that's how you came with the restaurant, you came with all these other things. And I think that's something very important, because most of the time, sometimes we want to start a ministry, it's like, hey, let's do this. And we have no idea if there's a need for it.
Yeah, exactly.
And then we have struggles because we're not able to be sustainable. The ministry is going to crumble down.
That's
it's because we never started looking for a problem to offer a solution for it.
And on that point, again, going back to Christ's method, he ministered to their needs. You can't minister to a need that you don't know what it is. So the first thing is to find out what their needs are. So once you find out their needs, then you can minister to their needs. And that alone breaks down the barriers. And I like the point that you just made. So when I say that we're creating a working model, the principle of the model is there, but what I'm doing in my local community might not be the same thing that somebody needs to do in Kenya, Africa, or somebody that might need to do in the Philippines, Asia, or it's just creating that mindset of what does my local community need. And with you having that overarching principle, then you can go and assess what the needs are. And just to top it off, we were in a dark county, which means that there was no Adventist presence. And through this work of what we shared, we did a church plant there. By God's grace, the last 3 weeks, we've had 70 people attend on Sabbath. And in all 3 of these weeks, we had 12 people, 13 people missing. So we've created a good problem. We don't even have space and room now to fit the people that we're
That's a good problem.
Our little local church. And our community is 2,500, so it's not a large community. So for us 70,000 might be small when you think about large cities, but for a small little town like us, that's very closed off against Adventism, that is a big deal.
Nice. Narlon, I would like you to talk to them now.
Yes.
Okay, so they want to start a ministry.
Uh-huh.
Maybe they have no idea how to get the funds, how to get started. What would you tell them?
Yes.
What to do?
Yeah, I'm going to start with just the very basic, and it's going to sound very cookie cutter. But the first thing is to know you're called to ministry. Ministry is not easy, and what keeps and sustains you in ministry is knowing for sure that God has called you. And number two, called you to what kind of ministry specifically. Then you want to determine what kind of ministry has God called me to specifically. But for the kind of ministries that we're doing, there's various things that you want to consider. But the main thing you want to consider is, if I do start this ministry, you want to start with the end goal in mind. Number one, where do I see myself in 5 years? What is the end goal? When this ministry reaches its climax, what do I want this ministry to look like? So then you begin to shape your vision based on that. You begin to shape your core values based on that. Like for our core values, everyone that comes here, we want them to be dedicated, self-sacrificing, and service-oriented. So now, as you're bringing in faculty to run the ministry, what are the core values that you want to hold as an organization? We want everyone that comes here to be dedicated, self-sacrificing, and service-oriented. And then you begin to build out your strategies. Now that I have my vision, now that I have my mission, now that I have my core values, what are the strategies that we're going to use to execute this vision, mission, and so on? So once you have those now, then you begin to pray. You find if you find a ministry partner, you guys begin to pray together and begin to outline step by step. What do we want to accomplish in year one? What do we want to accomplish in year two? And then in the midst of that, as you're building out the overarching goals and vision first, you begin to think, how are we going to support ourselves in this ministry? And for us, we know for sure that the number one way that you can support ministries that are starting up is through a wellness program. It definitely has a high profit yield. And if you could get the right persons to begin a wellness program, I think it's twofold. It has a high profit margin, and at the same time, it actually has a high conversion rate, which means you bring in people, as I mentioned in the beginning, to a controlled environment where a part of their program is to come to worship. A part of their program is to hear lectures. A part of their program is to receive, various treatments in which you're having more points of contact with them. They can share more about Christ. So with the wellness program, you have both. To me, the most effective way of ministering, and at the same time, you're actually yielding a high profit as well. So I would say start with that specifically. If there's more questions along those lines, then I could share a lot more.
Yeah, I know. We can do more interviews later.
Yeah.
But yeah, friends, if you want to know more about Red River Outpost, the links are going to be in the description below. Maybe you want to go training, maybe you want to go for an internship, you want to go learn, you want to go visit, you want to go have a program for someone that maybe needs it. Links are going to be in the description below. And remember, here at OCI, we're all about helping ministries thrive. So if you have a ministry and you want to grow it, or maybe you want to start a ministry, we're here to help you out. Link in the descriptions below. Thanks for watching. See you on the next one.